Hello, this is David Birch at Star Path School of Navigation with an update on Jacob Adoram's row to Cairns, Australia, which is progressing well. A lot's going on, and it's getting exciting here as he approaches, gets a lot closer. And we'll go over that, what's going on. And here's his latest position. And he is getting south, and I'll show you why he's trying to work his way south, which is really good progress. But I want to remind you to take a look to his own. That's jacobadoram.com. You can look in there. Here's a presentation that they have here that is some sort of tracking system that they're using. This is not the same as we're doing, but this one shows the winds on the model of, it's probably GFS winds, but it shows that. But more important, go over here to his blog, and he's got a recent post just a few days ago about events going on the boat and the challenges he's facing, and looks to me like he's doing a fantastic job and withstanding a lot of challenges on the boat. But let's look back now to the details, and one of the one of the exciting things to me is for the first, we've had other indications, but this is the best one by far. If we look at the RTOF's current models, and I'll come back and show you this in a grid file in a moment, and show how these vary. These RTOF's model, there's one a day, and they go out 4 days. So we can see how this is moving. Basically, this is moving down. And so he was getting, earlier along here, he was getting a good ride, but he's drifted a little bit above what, according to the model here, is the best current. And we were discussing that today, and he's going to see how he's switched down, and he's trying to hit down a little south to get into this current. Because if he can get more into this current's going to last for another 5 or 6 days. And so that's very favorable. And this is, if we look in the Oscar presentation, they also show strong currents in this area. Let me just show you. You can always turn on this scale down here and come down and see. I don't know what color that is. Somewhere it's over a knot. And sure enough, he's definitely getting a ride. He can tell by looking at the, take the oars away, quit rowing, and just look at how fast he's drifting. He can measure that current. A little bit tricky to separate out the leeway when you're in 20 knots of wind, right? He's in 20 knots of wind from the southeast. And so to make this progress into that, to get south, that's really a lot of hard work, and he's working hard at that. But I'll come back and show you this current. So we have this really beautiful eddy forecasted here in the currents, and sure enough, he's seeing it. We didn't see any of that when he's out in this green or blue or things like, light blue and gray and so forth. We didn't see that. Now we're seeing it. So that shows you the value of getting these RTOF's forecasts, or the Oscar forecasts, and going about it. And your strongest confirmation will be when these two are agreeing. That's the strongest. Okay, so that is that. We're showing the currents. Now let me just shut that off for a minute and show his progress and how you can do it. If you just zoom in here, now you see here's where he's really just blasting along, riding with the current right along in here. Current, and so if you can go like say go here to here, you see that's 4 knots. These are average over 1 hour. That's 4 knots. You see, this is something even bigger, huge. So this is these are really huge speeds for his boat. Normally, here you got 3 knots and so forth. So these are monster speeds, and he's making huge progress. What he has to go around, and I'll show you this on a chart in a moment, is this reef here. There is indeed a reef right here, and out in the middle of nowhere. Herald Beacon Reef. I think this has another name. That the Herald Beacon Islets. This has another name. I'll show you that. And he has to go around that, obviously, but it's not so much he's going around here. The idea is to get south, to try to get back into that current. So he's working hard as he can to get down in there, because if he gets in that, he gets a ride that's as big as he can make the boat go himself. So it's pretty amazing. All right, so what else we have? Okay, so let's look at, well, let me just see what we have here with the ASCAT. You see, if I turn on and look at the ASCAT, that's a green, that's a solid yellow. Go back up here to the yellow, and you see green is 20, so it's a solid 20 once you go from green to yellow. So this guy is in 20, and if you've been out sailing, in a boat at the ocean, in the ocean, you know that 20 knots of sustained wind is a lot of wind. It's been blowing day after day that way. So he's got, and these are not, remember, this is not a forecast. These are satellites measuring the actual wind speed at his boat. And that wind stays that way for a long time. If you come down and look at the, what do we have here in the way of waves? Let's see what the waves say. Total wave height. Total wave height is the second green. You see, these are meters. Second green, 3 meters. So that's 3 times 10-foot waves, 9 10-foot waves. So this guy's working hard right now, and the periods of the waves are this light blue. So these are waves, not swells. You'll see over here, that's about like 7 or 8 seconds. 7 or 8 seconds. So those are the periods of waves, not swells. Not nice rollers, but real steep wind waves for 20 knots of wind. So he's in serious seas right now, serious duty seas. Okay, and look at the wind. If we come down here to the latest model, this is a BOM. It's probably some version of the GFS model, I'm not sure. But you see there the 20 knots, and then go out 48 hours, another 2 more days, 20 knots there. Another 4 days, 20 knots there. So he's in a steady conditions of this, which is going to be very good. If he can hold this and fight that boat from going northwest, he's going to make great progress, and he's right on track. The other thing, and I haven't added this to the route, but I'll add it later, but let me shut this off. And here is the planned route. I'll just show you what he's got in mind for now. And I'll show you this on some real charts in a minute. But here is the planned route. He's coming down around here, up in here along this. This is a barrier reef, and then going to try to get through the barrier reef right up here. That's I'll show you that pass in a minute. But this is all pretty treacherous, especially when you have little control over the boat. For there's the planned route, and I don't know, let's see, how far is he away right now as the crow flies? As the crow flies, he's 600 miles away from Cairns right now. As if you're a crow or a seagull. No, you'd have to be like an albatross. All right, so let's put that away and come down and look at the actual chart. And now, here comes a story for another. Let me zoom out for the moment here. I have every chart of Australia that exists here. And I just found a remarkable place to buy these charts. And I'm going to make a movie, or maybe I'll write a blog post about it, about how to get these charts. This was like 35 euros for this entire set of charts. And these are the official charts. I'm learning a little bit more about how this works, but this source has charts for all over the world. And it looks to me like there's some sort of revolution going on in charting, electronic charting. And also for our neighbors around here. Canada is not on this list yet, but I understand Canada will be shortly. So anyway, so I've got to come back and show how to get these charts, and also then how to prepare OpenCPN to view them. They're still copy protected. I mean, you have to get plugins to get all this stuff working, but it's easy, very easy, and they're very beautiful charts. So here he is right now at about 5 o'clock Seattle time in the afternoon, 00 Zulu, the 16th. And so here are the waypoints coming down, going around here. And here on a chart is this, what's it called here? It's called Melissa Reef, or Mellish. Yeah, it's actually, so there's the chart. Now that shows you the kind of charts you can get. These are really nice products. And so here's the reef. And I'm on OpenCPN, so I can hit the M key, go down here all the way to the top. See, that's about 6 miles. 6 miles across there. Oh, here's a mile scale. This is their new version 5. They have a mile scale here. They got rid of the standard ectus. They used to have a standard ectus, standard ectus mile scale, and they changed that. I guess people didn't like it, but it's the standard that ships have to use. The ships don't have this kind of thing. Okay, so there's the reefs. There's the kind of charts we can look at, and then and so forth. So coming over here and along in here, and then here's going to be the winds, by the way, and I'll show you in a second. The winds all look good for getting up in here, but this is a tricky part right here. He can get up in here, but then going this far to the south is pretty hard. So there may be some studies have to go on here about maybe cutting through here, but that's going to take a little research. But tentatively, his plan in his mind right now, and what he's going to do and what he's laid out and designed for himself, is to come up here and come down and go across, get up in here. And then he go around here. Here's Cairns, the town of Cairns, and up here. And he's talked about once he gets in here, maybe putting out the sea anchor and resting a little bit, and then going there the next day or so into here, into Cairns. And it looks like after 9,000 miles of rowing, it looks like he's actually going to really do this, which is a pretty remarkable feat. Let's see, show on Google Earth and OpenCPN. Yes, I've done that. Okay, and the last thing is to look at the, here's the latest, let me show the RTOFs, the currents. Okay, here are the currents, and here's where he is. And this is literally, the red line is right now, right? Here's back where he was, riding along. And again, and this, what is this line? This line's at 1 knot, the dark line. The dark line's at 1 knot. And this in here, see, this current's in here about 1.4 knots, 1.4 knots. Pretty good in the middle of the ocean for a boat that goes about 1.4 knots in flat water. So here we go, and here you see he's going down there, and he's just a little bit north of where it'd be nice to get down into here. Now, we don't know for sure where these currents are, and he's getting see, this says there's only half a knot here. You read it up here, and this says it's only half a knot, and he's got definitely a solid 1 knot behind him. Like right now, he's got a knot behind him, and it says here 0.8, 0.9. You see, that's okay, but there's more right here. And so the idea is try to punch this route down here a little bit. And so that's the way this current evolves, like that. And so if he can get down into here, he gets to ride it longer. Here he runs out of it. So that's what the goal is now, and it's looking very exciting. And I'm sure he's getting excited with a lot of adrenaline that's helping him push through these, keeping that big boat pointed in the right direction with 30 knots of wind, almost not really on the beam, but close, is a pretty rugged. If we go back and look at the actual winds, you see here, here is now. Okay, here's now, and there's the boat here. The boat is there, and so then you go along and you watch it move, and you see the winds on it. They vary a little bit up and down. There's 25 knots. See, there it's going a little more westerly. That's nice. It's going a little more westerly. That's good for him. but clear up. Here's a week from now. And see, even when he wants to turn, if this all holds the way he wants, right when he wants to turn, he's going to have 20 knots literally behind the boat. This is going to be a phenomenal run up here. And then look at this. Now, we're way beyond reality here on believing the forecast. This is wishful thinking. Totally wishful dreamland, virtual weather, right? Virtual weather when you're out this far. But if we look at the virtual weather, it does get, it can potentially get lighter. And he would be blessed. He would be blessed if he gets up here and has to run down that channel and it goes light. But we'll see. Right now it all looks good. There could be one of these tropical storms between now and then. A tropical storm could develop and come blasting right through there. We don't know. This is down in a place where weather is very volatile. Okay, I'll stop there. That's a report on an amazing adventure.